Okay, we ended last time with the wizard and the scarecrow speaking to each other, and the wizard said that experience was the only thing that brings knowledge. We'll continue. That may be true, said the scarecrow, but I will be very unhappy unless you give me brains. Well, Oz said with a sigh, I am not much of a magician, as I said, but if you come to me tomorrow morning, I will stuff your head with brains. Oh, thank you, cried the scarecrow. But how about my courage? Asked the lion anxiously. You have plenty of courage. All you really need is some confidence in yourself. Every living thing is afraid when it faces danger. True courage is facing danger even when you are afraid. And you already have that kind of courage. Maybe I have, answered the lion, but I am scared just the same. I'm going to pause just a second, and here the scarecrow is thanking the wizard as he said he is going to give him some brains. Here we go. Now back to the lion. I would like you to give me the sort of courage that makes me forget to be afraid. Very well. I will give you that sort of courage tomorrow, said Oz. What about my heart? Asked the Tin Man. I think you are lucky not to have a heart, for the heart is what makes most people unhappy, said Oz. That is your opinion, said the Tin Man. For my part, I will bear all the unhappiness without a word if you will give me the heart. Very well, answered Oz meekly. Come to me tomorrow, and you will have your heart. I have played wizard long enough. I may as well continue for a little while longer. Then Dorothy asked Oz how he would get her back to Kansas. The wizard confessed that her request would take a little longer to fulfill. He asked them all to stay in the palace for a few more days while he thought of a way to get Dorothy back to Kansas. Here is the Tin Man asking about his heart, asking the wizard. In the meantime, he asked them to keep his secret. They all agreed to say nothing about what they had learned and went back to their rooms in high spirits. They were all sure their wishes would be granted. So here you see them all happily walking back to their rooms because they are sure their wishes will be granted. Let's watch a movie clip.
Every pusillanimous creature that crawls on the earth or slinks through slimy seas has a brain. Back where I come from, we have universities, seats of great learning, where men go to become great thinkers. And when they come out, they think deep thoughts, and with no more brains than you have. But they have one thing you haven't got, a diploma. Therefore, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Universitatis Comitiatum e Pluribus Unum, I hereby confer upon you the honorary degree of Ph.D.
PhD?
That's Doctor of Thinkology.
The sum of the square roots of any two sides of an isosceles triangle is equal to the square root of the remaining side. Oh, joy, rapture! I've got a brain! How can I ever thank you enough?
Well, you can't. As for you, my fine friend, you're a victim of disorganized thinking. You are under the unfortunate delusion that simply because you run away from danger, you have no courage. You're confusing courage with wisdom. Back where I come from, we have men who are called heroes. Once a year, they take their fortitude out of mothballs and parade it down the main street of the city. And they have no more courage than you have. But they have one thing that you haven't got, a medal. Therefore, for meritorious conduct, extraordinary valor, conspicuous bravery against wicked witches, I award you the Triple Cross. You are now a member of the Legion of Courage.
Shucks, folks, I'm speechless.
As for you, my galvanized friend, You want a heart. You don't know how lucky you are not to have one. Hearts will never be practical until they can be made unbreakable.
But I still want one.
Back where I come from, there are men who do nothing all day but good deeds. They are called good deed doers, and their hearts are no bigger than yours. But they have one thing you haven't got, a testimonial. Therefore, in consideration of your kindness, I take pleasure at this time in presenting you with a small token of our esteem and affection. And remember, my sentimental friend, that a heart is not judged by how much you love, but by how much you are loved by others.
Oh, it ticks. Listen, look, it ticks.
Read what my medal says. Courage. Ain't it the truth? Ain't it the truth?
Oh, they're all wonderful.
Hey!
That was a very nice clip. Let's move on for the rest of the story. Chapter 15. Oz grants 3 wishes. The next morning, the Scarecrow went to see Oz and get his brains. He went to the throne room and knocked at the door. "Come in," said Oz. The Scarecrow went in and found the little man sitting by the window. That's the picture we see. The Scarecrow's coming in, and there's the little man, and here is the window he's sitting in. "I have come for my brains," said the Scarecrow. "I have not forgotten," said Oz, "but I must take your head off in order to put your brains in their proper place." "That's all right," said the Scarecrow. "You are quite welcome to take my head off, as long as it will be a better one when you put it on again." So the Wizard unfastened the Scarecrow's head and emptied out the straw. Then he went to the back room and mixed a cup of cereal with many pins and needles. He shook the mixture again and again. Then he filled the top of the Scarecrow's head with the mixture and stuffed the rest of the space with straw to hold it in place. When he fastened the Scarecrow's head back on his body again, Oz said, "From now on, you will be a great man, for you have brains." The Scarecrow was pleased and proud, and he thanked the Wizard again and again. When Dorothy saw the Scarecrow with all the needles and pins sticking out of his head, she was very surprised. "How do you feel?" she asked him. "I feel very wise," answered the Scarecrow. "When I get used to my brains, I will know everything." "Well, I must go to Oz and get my heart," said the Tin Man. So he walked to the throne room and knocked at the door. Oz welcomed the Tin Man and said he was ready to give him a wonderful heart. He cut a small hole in the left side of the Tin Man's chest. Then he went into the back room and brought out a pretty heart made entirely of silk and stuffed with sawdust. "Isn't it a beauty?" Oz asked. "It is indeed," answered the Tin Man. "But is it a kind heart?" "Oh, very," answered Oz. He put the heart in the Tin Man's chest and then replaced the square of tin he had removed. "There," he said. "Now you have a heart that any man would be proud of." Here he is putting the heart in the Tin Man's chest. The Tin Man thanked Oz and went back to his friends. Everyone wished him joy and good luck with his new heart. Next, it was the Lion's turn to get his courage. He walked to the throne room and knocked at the door. "Come in," said Oz. "I have come for my courage," announced the Lion as he entered the room. "Very well," said Oz. "I will get it for you." He went to a cupboard and took down a square green bottle. He poured the contents into a green dish. He placed this in front of the Lion, who sniffed at it as if he didn't like it. Then the Wizard said, "Drink." "What is it?" asked the Lion. Well, answered Oz, if it were inside of you, it would be courage. You know that courage is always inside. So this cannot really be called courage until you have swallowed it. I think you should drink it as soon as possible. And we are going to stop right there until next time.